Yeah.
It feels like it's midnight.
It does.
We don't go back to the
Raising their
time.
more than what we're raising.
Okay, so 10, 11, 12, 23 of each.
Yes.
Okay. They gotta let us stay on the old time. Quit moving us around.
I thought we were going to next year.
My understanding it will switch back and then spring, it'll spring forward and then it's done.
Then it's stopped.
Did they,
Yeah.
did they pass that?
Oh, that'll be nice.
Yeah, it passed.
That's what I thought. Yeah, so in the spring, March, probably March, we'll go forward. And then we stay there. Now, what's Illinois?
I was gonna say, if they keep changing, then they won't go back to the way it was, where we're on the same time half the year,
Yeah,
different time the other half.
yeah. If they keep changing, yeah.
I thought nationally it was, so even Illinois will always be an hour behind.
Oh, that's possible. Hey, did you say Bob? You say Bob? Yeah. Yeah, he fell. He fell.
Always do that.
Run into Dan Gillis and get him straightened out.
So Illinois changed too? I thought he was going to the hospital.
I thought it was.
Oh, no way you're gonna be.
So wasn't, there is no more daylight savings time.
My, I didn't say, my fingers go on my hands are close.
You don't screw the math.
Where'd you go? Oh, okay.
You did the cat. On the trail. Uh-huh.
Yes, it's going to go for the dog.
Yeah, it's been as far as a.
There.
See, I don't do roads with letters, I cannot find copies of them or anything.
But they said they go.
I don't know, I wasn't on vacation during that time.
Yeah, I responded to this.
Okay, okay, she'll get it. All right, very good. Thank you.
All right, perfect. Mission accomplished.
Yes.
Well. We're just doing a question, but if we're gonna bring this up tonight and pass it, failure to pass, constitutional appointment. No, probably the gentleman next to you.
Jim Ness.
Jim,
That's okay,
Ness.
thank you.
thank you.
Oh,
Would you get your windshield replaced, though? We got a spot we need to fix. Before we get out to this. I love that one. I think we should. It always has been. Yeah, we don't have any, I mean, even when we first got it, they had to put it on. So he's long enough, he kept kicking it. And then he got it 79. It will. It's not gonna last long, so we.
Yeah, I know, I know, it's right there. Yeah.
53 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think anybody knowing it.
Oh, no, I mean, I know that, I mean, yeah, you have to, but not right away. You get all your ducks in a row.
Like call the meeting to order. Linda, you have roll call?
Mayor Crane.
Here.
Councilmember Schultz.
Here.
Martin.
Here.
Sayer.
Here.
Smith. Tanner.
Here.
Attorney Powell.
First thing we're gonna do is pass the ordinances. First ordinance is 2022-9. It's the compensation ordinance for appointed officers, deputies, and other employees for the fiscal year 2023. I have that in front of you. Does anybody have any questions on that?
What is it?
Pardon?
What is it?
Salary ordinance?
But they got a raise or?
Yeah, everybody got a 50 cent an hour raise, so about $1,000.
50 cents.
Yep,
Man, that's a lot.
it is.
Yeah. Especially with what, 9% inflation?
I know.
Is that nine?
And we're not raising the utilities too much, so we don't have, so we can still pay the 50 cents.
50 cents? Couldn't give them $1 or $1.50? Man, that's not even all the money.
No, it's not right. I don't make a
They,
motion, we pass
they
this
get at least
ordinance.
that much every year. I have a motion?
I got a question on here, Brad.
Yes.
Park caretaker,
Yes.
it says $500 per week in session.
In
Or
season.
I mean.
Yeah,
Then it says assistant park caretaker, $5,000 per year.
that is only the guy that helps him. We pay that out of the assistant.
Okay, you're paying, so we're.
Hourly.
we-
No, hourly.
Yeah. Hourly coming out of the 5,000 that we earmark for temporary help.
Yes. Yeah,
That's what that is?
yes,
Okay.
yeah, it's hourly.
The other question I got, your park caretaker, his time is from what, is it May the 1st?
April.
April the 1st to November the 1st, when the
Yes.
park is closed. Well,
Yes.
he has put in more time than that with leaves and so forth up there, so what are we doing?
I don't think he's picked up any leaves.
Huh?
When I was through there last night, it didn't look like.
He has,
Yeah, he hasn't picked up any?
oh, no,
Yeah.
no.
Well,
When after November 1st, before April, if he's working, he gets paid per hour.
Per hour?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, he turns in his time.
Yeah, I didn't know, the boys went up there and got it winterized, I don't know whether he was, you guys went up and got the parts winterized and everything, was he up there with any assistance?
No,
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 okay.
he didn't do any of that.
Alright, so April the first to November the first,
Yeah.
he's done,
Yes,
okay,
yes.
alright, that's all I have on the
Okay.
ordinance.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Josh,
Yes.
Justin,
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
Patty,
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0. Twenty 10 is an ordinance amending ordinance 2022-5. 2022-5 was an ordinance amending the ordinance from 2013, which we actually lowered the rates when the legislature took the utility receipts tax off. We had to lower the rates, and not very much, not noticeably, but now Clint has recommended, instead of raising the rates, we put a customer charge on, which is kind of customary for about every electric utility around. That would be $15 a month, which most utilities are raising the rates. And the economic climate, we don't really wanna do that. Clint thinks that the $15 a month will get us by and possibly, hopefully for another 9 years. That probably won't happen, but
Is that $15 per household?
per meter, per meter.
That's not what I was told by him the other day. I had 2 meters, one at my house, one in my garage. And he said that my bill was lower than the $15, so it wouldn't excess, for somebody like that, I wouldn't have to pay it.
Your minimum bill would switch to $15.
That'd be straight to 15.
Yes.
Okay.
That will be the minimum, Marty. You don't have to pay that on top of the minimum.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this raise, is in conjunction with what other towns are doing, the $15, are we?
Yes, well, I mean, we're actually lower, that, it's not as high as like Ameren, Duke,
Okay,
places like that.
Our
It would be
rate,
more in line with Crawfordsville or.
yeah, Crawfordsville's the same.
yeah,
Petersburg's less, but their energy charge is more. Their rates are higher.
yeah.
So
Their rate's higher for the energy.
Williamsport's higher.
Yeah.
Tipmont, their service charge is $34.50.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's considerably higher. So, we're the lowest price around Petersburg, Attica, Crawfordsville.
Well, we
Nothing
have,
wrong with being the lowest price around. What's the money gonna be used for, though?
The increased cost of transformers, my transformers went up over, they've almost tripled price. Poles have more than doubled, I mean, it's
All
not,
materials went up at least
Materials.
25-30%.
Oh, sure, I know. I was just curious. I mean,
Oh, it's
like I
not-
said, there's
it's-
nothing wrong with being the lowest in the.
We were talking about Tim on.
Oh, no, that's not why we're raising, Keith, not
Oh, I
because we're the
understand.
lowest we
Right.
wanna raise. It's after we put this on, we're still the lowest, but we've gotta make money, and that's the problem.
We talked
Sure,
about it a
that's-
few times, just to
right.
keep it out of the
Yeah.
bed.
yes.
Yeah.
Keep it afloat.
Yeah, just to keep it going.
You're having trouble getting your transformers anyway, aren't you?
I have got some in, I had a blanket order out, and I've been starting to get a few in. I tried to get ahead of the backlog,
Okay.
and now they're forecasting 3 years out on some transformers. I don't know how we're gonna operate like that. Ordered poles in, 6 months ago, and they just finally told me we might get them in December. What do you do?
Everything's like,
Yeah, yeah.
everything.
We need a motion to adopt that ordinance.
I do.
I make a motion to adopt ordinance 2022-10.
Okay, do I have a second?
I'll second the motion.
Okay. Josh,
Yes.
Justin,
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
Patty,
Yes.
Bob.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0. Adopt 2022-10. Start those. There too. Ordinance 2022-11 is amending ordinance 2022-6. There again, that's our water ordinance, and 2022-6 took off the utility receipts tax and lowered the bill. We wanna put a $3, not raise the rates, but a $3 per meter customer charge on. And there again, that's to keep us in the black, keep us healthy. And the last time we raised water rates were 2013.
How much was the tax relief credit that you said they took off?
Not very much.
Like, what's not very much?
It was probably maybe, what do you think?
It was what point, I can't remember, like one, it was just very minimal, but you had to decrease your rates to make it work.
Yeah.
So Taylor had to write up the ordinance to do that. We're not gonna increase the rates, they're gonna still get that decreased amount that we decreased them
So
to.
it's gonna-
It's just we're gonna have to
additional-
put these service charges on.
So an additional $3.
It's $3,
$15,
yeah.
an additional
Yeah.
$18 a month.
Pardon?
Is the next
No.
ordinance, is it gonna be for the garbage?
No, not the next one, the one after, no. Garbage is gonna raise from 15 to 17.50.
There we go.
But the next one's, this is, I don't wanna get too far ahead of myself, you know. We've raised rates in 23 years, twice, so, and we've been historically about, probably the lowest around. There's daughter down there. Next up.
They've already signed it.
Okay. I'm gonna give them back to you guys. We need to sign on the top line too, up here.
Clint, I have a question. How do you deem what's a commercial, meter there? Because it's $15 for residential, but it's $30 for a commercial, small and large. How do you consider what's commercial and what's
Well,
3 days?
the higher power users,
based on consumption?
yes.
Okay.
Need more job. I'm getting ready to say, I'm not ready to apply for the parks position.
Get that back to Josh and Justin.
Josh and Justin sign on the right side now.
Here, white it out.
We will, we'll white it out. Okay. You gotta
Right,
sign.
send it to the paper.
Yeah.
It's 2 days later. If I just put mine on
Yeah, they sign, just sign it all right. Sign it all tomorrow. Sign on the right again.
salary ordinances. Yeah. Where's your, I can make you one.
I gotta sign the salary ordinance too.
I'm sure.
This one?
When will these take effect?
They have to be advertised.
Well, I mean, the public needs to know about them too, you know what I mean?
Pardon?
The public's gonna need to know what we're doing too, you know?
They'll be advertised.
That's what I'm saying,
Advertised in the
yeah.
paper.
Yeah,
I'll try to get it in by
it'll be advertised on our website.
Friday. By the time I get a hold of our programming people, I don't look for it until January.
Oh, that needs to go
They
back.
just, they gotta sign the top there on that one.
What are you doing, Brian? Signing free already?
Make your last one.
I usually throw them in there just to have them.
Yeah, right. If I'd known this, I'd brought my stamp.
That was excluded in baseball. Consumption. This is also excluded. That just needs the rate.
Okay. Okay, the next one,
You haven't had a motion all of it.
No, no, that's a little,
okay, we're still on the water ordinance 2022-11. It's a $3 a month charge per meter.
I'll make the motion that we pass 2022-11.
Do I have a second? Patty made the motion.
I'll second.
Joe.
Might be the last thing.
Josh?
What is it one more time? I meant to-
Oh, water, customer charge, $3
Yeah.
per meter.
Yes.
Yes.
Justin? Joe?
Yes.
Patty?
Yeah.
Bob?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0 on 2022-11. Same place on the top and
Linda and I looked at what the electric department was bringing in and what they were losing for months. And it was, you know, pretty substantial amount of money we was losing per month on
Well,
electric.
we bought $100,000 worth of transformers
Yeah.
last month,
Yeah.
so.
Well, this is before that.
Yeah.
I mean, this, you know, and the water department, it was the same way. And it's because we haven't done anything for 9 years on any kind of raises. Maybe that's where we mess up at, but not do a little bit here, a little bit there.
Well, we're doing okay, I mean, we're doing a wastewater treatment plant upgrade that's about $1.5 million. And we're gonna put a customer charge on of $3 on the wastewater. So, talk to towns around and, see what happens. A lot of times it'll go from $40 or $50 a month for water and wastewater to $100 or 30. So, it's,
I don't know, I think their wastewater's higher than a lot of towns that I've seen. It's usually double what your water is. It's usually half in other counties. Their waste is half of what the water usage. Now we're double what the water usage is.
it's always been about the same. About, wastewater is about the same as water.
Look on that.
4,000 or 5,000 gallons is.
It's usually,
it's
I mean, it
around
might be $3 or $4 higher.
$25 a month.
Cause the sewer minimum's more than the water minimum is.
25,000 gallons. Regular highways, illegal aliens, or what? 25,000.
Oh, okay.
It's just basically on the side of that.
Okay. See, this one, there's just one on, they have to be advertised.
Yeah, I can get that. I'll get that other one.
I think we can just put them on the website.
We had to put the other ones on the paper, so people could put them on the website.
Which ones?
When we made the one you're amending.
Oh.
It's like stop signs and. Just need a motion.
Yep. Next one is ordinance 2022-12, and that's on the wastewater. And that is a $3 customer charge in lieu of raising the rates.
I'm up to about $25 right now.
Hopefully it's after the holidays,
Counting the garbage.
get a lot of people home.
It won't take effect till after that, Brian. But you've run a business, haven't you? You know you can't lose money.
It's gonna be hard.
You
for a
know
lot-
that,
It's gonna be
don't
hard
you?
for a lot of people.
I do.
Yeah,
I'm just saying, hopefully it's after the first of the year, is what all I'm
the
saying.
gas has been hard for a lot of people.
Well, yeah.
Everything's been hard.
Raised Margot's rent up $250 a month.
I'm
Really?
aware of that, it's gonna hit her pretty hard, yeah.
Yeah,
Well, you put all these, what we're doing, you put all these together and add them up.
It's $23.50.
Yeah,
it's
just all at once.
$23.50.
Huh?
It's $23.50.
Per household.
Yeah, Yeah, and we haven't raised rates for 9 years, and we've done it twice in 23 years, so, you know, I don't feel like I have to defend that. I think that we, you know, and, you know, what we do, what we spend on, I'll just tell you, on leaves, running that truck and all, I mean, you can't believe it. And, you know, I've had a lot of guys that come to me and said, we can't believe, that just moved here, said, we can't believe what you do for us. And I've had more of that than the other way, so,
So far,
yeah.
till these get announced.
Yeah.
I'll tell you one thing, I'm not moving out of Covington. There's no way. I think we've got the greatest town in the country. I really do.
No doubt about it. 2022-12, do I have a motion?
I make a motion we accept 22-12.
I have a motion. Have a second.
I'll second.
We wouldn't be doing these things if we didn't have to.
Bob?
Yes.
Patty?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
Justin?
Yes.
Josh?
No.
Motion passes 4-1.
You wanna start them down there?
Start it down there. When I became mayor January 1st of 2000, all three utilities were in the red. Bob knows, he was the street superintendent. Linda worked here, and it wasn't very fun, you know. And not too many years before that, they had told me that, you know, they didn't know always where the money was coming from to pay the bills. After being in the city for 175 years. We were $400,000 in the hole, in the red. And if we didn't pass an ordinance then, we wouldn't be in very good shape. We're in pretty good shape now, just because we've only had 2 raises, but just because we've been fiscally responsible.
I remember the only way we got out of that, we had to put 25 cents a gallon on the water. That's the only way that's just what we had to do, or I mean, that's what the other council did.
I'll tell you what, we didn't have anything. I'll guarantee you.
Josh, you won't sign that one, I don't think.
Okay.
This isn't fun for us, but it's gotta be done. We've got, you know, our garbage, you know, to get picked up every week,
What do we pay per household?
$15.
Okay.
We're gonna raise it to $17.50,
Because,
it,
why wouldn't you raise it if it was raised on the city? I mean, why raise it?
it will be raised. Keith, we've been paying a surcharge, we've been paying more than what we had figured the $15 on.
Isn't that bid each year though? They bid that at the beginning, prior
They
to.
bid it, but we paid them a surcharge on when fuel goes up. If you hold somebody to that, what kind of service are you gonna get? You know, I
That's
mean,
what they bid it at.
it's tough.
That's part of being a business.
Yeah, I know.
They've always done that, they've always put a surcharge in their contract for fluctuation.
And that's what's happened, when diesel has went from $2.50 to over $5, you know, and those trucks are in town every day. I mean, you know, they have a surcharge in the contract.
So it's costing us more than $15 a household, is that what you're saying? You just said that was $15.
We have other things figured in that, Keith, like we have, like yard waste, a lot of other things, that includes. So, and that's
So
not,
the $2.50 cover the surcharge that they're charging you right now?
yeah, yeah,
And
Yeah.
they do bid it out every year?
no,
No,
4-year contract.
4-year contract.
They have,
And
but
how much
they,
longer on the contract do we have on this term?
we have, 1 more year.
So then their rates could change out.
Well, we'll pay them more starting, we've been paying more this year, and we'll pay a surcharge for next year. So it's gonna take care of that.
Okay.
Yeah, we just can't, we
How many
can't,
households are in Covington, I'm curious?
how many, Linda?
Well, electric wise, we bill out about 1,645 a month, not as many water. Some people live in apartments that just have electricity, so about an average of 1,645.
And we go outside of city limits on electricity.
When we took in all the new houses on the golf course. They pay trash now. I'd have to get my billing out to look at it, I don't have it,
1,300 probably,
at least,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, I don't know what we're gonna do, and they got another year on their contract, and they come in and bid more than what we're proposing to put on garbage pickup at $17.50, and their bid is more than what we take in, and what are we left at
Well,
that time?
well, we'll have to look at it at that time. I don't wanna charge any more than what we're gonna need to,
Take care of the contract.
yeah.
I mean, apparently there's no other companies that do this, pick up trash at the scale that these people do. But I'm just wondering, if we do pass an ordinance and put another $2.50 and make $17.50 to each meter or whatever, how we're gonna do it, and they come in next year and bid a higher, and their bid is higher than that $17.50 is gonna take care of, I mean, we'd be in a pickle.
Well, we'll be okay for this coming year.
Yeah, I know for
Yeah,
this coming year.
yeah.
In your contract, is there a cap on their surcharge? I mean, to me, it seems like 4 years is a long time for the contract, if they got an unlimited surcharge
Oh,
and based
it-
off the price of oil, they
No.
can charge whatever.
It's not unlimited.
There's a cap on it.
Yeah, we just didn't see this coming, that it was gonna be, when we did the contract.
I mean, if you're going with the lowest bid, I mean, somebody apparently got beat out without
No,
that
there was
surcharge,
nobody
right?
else
No
that
other
bid.
bidders.
So does Petersburg and Attica, do they use the same garbage company?
Attica uses one out of, called Trash Cans out of Lafayette. And,
Petersburg's TNS.
TNS.
Yeah, Petersburg's TNS.
sometimes I know it's hard to think that, but we're probably with the best people we can be with. They have the resources to bring a new truck on and, you know, we all know they make mistakes. They haven't been perfect. They've missed houses, but they always come back and.
Overall, they've been pretty good though.
Yeah, yeah. I would hate to think about going to, you know, TNS or something. I mean, nothing wrong with TNS, but, you know, they're just
Well, I mean, it might
a
come a
small
time, where-
company.
might come a time when we gotta have more than one bid.
Yeah,
You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
yeah. Nobody's been interested in bidding on it. That's,
I understand what Bob's trying to say though, if you had a $2.50 now and they come back and the year's up and they want an additional, that means you have to go back to the city and say, hey, now we need even more money on that same.
I've tried to
But you're saying
negotiate,
that we shouldn't have to raise the
Yeah.
$2.50 right now if we're doing fine right now.
yeah.
But you're trying to get ahead of the game and have a stockpile
Yeah, we're
in
gonna,
case they come
we're
up.
gonna need to pay them more next year unless diesel comes down, you know. If diesel comes down, you know, they're having trouble like everybody getting drivers. So, they've had,
Everybody's having trouble
it's
getting
been-
out.
it's been a real struggle for them.
Raising everything, I might have that one. Our own campground. Totally grow your shit.
That's all the trash cans they provide.
Yeah, yeah.
So we get all that taken care of.
No,
2022-12, that's on the trash pickup,
no, that is on the
Just-
wastewater.
that's on wastewater.
Yes. I don't believe we have, Linda says we don't have an ordinance on the trash.
Well, we're gonna have an increase, we gotta.
It would just be a vote.
Huh?
Somebody could recommend it, and it would just be a vote to up the trash to 12, or to 17.
I've got all night. It's not very much fun when you don't have enough money to pay people.
But it sounded to me like you said we had enough to pay for this remaining contract.
Oh, we're still, you know, well, we're paying a surcharge every month,
Mhm.
Marty. We haven't raised the trash for,
No, I'm not asking you about when you raised it last,
Huh?
I'm saying you said we had enough money in there. The 250 would be something to prevent something from the next contract.
I'm
correct?
I'm saying that we,
What was that, Joe? I didn't hear.
$15, when we take it to 15,
I,
7 or 8 years ago.
at least,
So, you know, I mean, we paid, you know, a higher surcharge all year, this year. I mean, we're not losing money on it right now.
Then why do we have to raise this one, is what I'm asking.
Michael, 15 minutes ago.
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Well, you said to stockpile money to get ahead, if it hasn't came ahead, I mean, nobody wants, these charges, and I get it's hard for us to make those decisions, can we just wait this out?
Sure.
Until potentially if
Sure.
it's raised, and then raise the rate?
Yeah. Did you hear what I said, though? We've been paying the surcharge.
Yeah, I heard you, but then I heard what you had responded
just
to
said
Marty
we-
and said
we
it
had
was
it
to
covered.
put money ahead, and so when they do it next year.
Did I say that, Linda?
I can't get involved in the middle of all this.
That's
While I'm
okay.
doing
Marty's
something.
last question.
I don't
was
think
to
anybody has
stockpile
an
money for
appetite
next
to
year.
raise it, so. Hey, I don't like to raise it either. You guys, you
No,
know,
I understood the.
I run 15 businesses. I know when you're selling stuff below, you know,
No,
Marty, you know.
I understand, but if you're saying that, I understand the power and the
We've been-
water, those right there, I can understand it.
We've been paying garbage, we've been paying surcharges all year because the diesel has been over $5 a gallon.
Yeah, I run diesel, I know,
Yeah.
but what I'm saying is, you're saying we are doing very well in the garbage industry right now as far as money, right, even with these surcharges, isn't that what you said?
Doing very well.
Twice he said that.
You're
You
saying
said
we're
two
doing okay.
times that we were not losing money on garbage, we were fine at $15 a month.
Do you want
And
us
that's why-
to take it to
that's-
the
that's
place
why
where
they
we're
keep
losing
asking.
money?
No, Joe, that's not what we're asking.
If
He's
and
saying
when
that we're
that
doing
day
fine with the
comes.
surcharge. I think we should wait it out for a little bit and see what the actual contract is. That's all we're saying.
If we have the funding to take care of the contract until the contract's up,
Yes, why do we have to raise it this time?
including what we're paying out in surcharge.
Yes,
Mhm.
Then I see what you mean by waiting until the contract comes up and see what they come in at.
yes.
At that time, we would have to raise it. See what I
Okay.
mean?
Let's just forget it.
No, I mean, that's just,
What did I tell you? I said we paid a surcharge. I didn't say, oh, we've got plenty of money in garbage, that we're making plenty of money.
So we're in the red then on the garbage.
I
'cause you
didn't
have
say
to pay
we
the
were in,
surcharge.
I didn't say we were in the red.
Okay,
Clint, what
So
do you
then we're in
have?
the black, I guess, so we don't need to raise it after all. Correct? 20 minutes worth
No,
of that.
take a vote and see what they say. I would, take your vote.
Well, you didn't get a motion anyway.
I didn't get a motion. Clint, what do you have?
I don't have anything.
Tyler?
Nothing.
Greg?
Nope.
Jim? Butch? Marty? Nancy? Margot? Keith?
First thing is, what's the status on getting this room set up for video, because I can't go live on Facebook and like I was, and there was actually quite a few people watching these meetings, that one of them, as a matter of fact, had about 1,400 views, so.
We told Brad Keller to order the equipment,
Okay,
so I think it's a supply chain issue,
okay.
yeah.
The second thing I got is I heard Bob ask for about the last 2 or 3 months about a list of streets that were gonna get paved. And I don't know that that ever happened.
Oh,
Did you ever get that list, Bob?
Yeah, he got the list.
Okay,
You weren't at the meeting.
okay, all right.
We're
So
still
when
waiting.
are they gonna pave them?
We're still waiting on community crossings. We rescinded our money that we got because we had 5 streets. They gave us money for 3 and the company bid 5 and wouldn't break them out.
Oh.
So our consultant made an error.
What streets are gonna get paved now? That's the,
13th Street from Pearl north to the city limits. It'll get rebuilt. It'd never been really paved. Johnson Street from 2nd to 3rd. 2nd Street from Highway 136 to Harrison. 8th Street from Highway 136 to Washington.
The other one's up there in, Peach Lane.
Peach Lane from 9th Street to the bridge.
can I ask again for about the 3rd year in a row for 11th Street to be paved from Orchard to Sunset? When I bought that house in 1998, it was a blacktop street. And they chip sealed it the first year I was there. Now it's a piss poor gravel road is all it is. They came and did some work on it in the fall, graded it, but like I said, that was a blacktop street one time, a nice one. Bob knows, he helped build that house up there.
I brought it up about getting a blacktop.
I know you have.
You did?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll get a price on it.
And the status of the volleyball court at the park.
Clint has to move the electric line out from underneath it. There's an electric line that comes across on an angle.
Underneath the basketball court too, right?
It's just the corner of the basketball court, but he's gonna move it.
How deep is that? I know we discussed this once, but
2 feet,
2
Clint?
feet.
Yeah, last, locator's telling me it's 23 to 26 inches, however it goes across.
And we've gotta dig down and run a drain under the volleyball court.
So it's definitely not gonna happen this year.
No.
Yeah.
No, it'll be in the spring.
How about the sidewalks from the park? 3rd, 4th, and 5th Street.
We're trying to get some bids on them right now.
What kind of bid do you need? Linear feet or square feet, or what do you need?
What are they? Are they all 5 feet or 4 feet?
The sidewalk?
Yeah.
The ones that are in there now are 5 feet.
I mean, what kind of a bid do they want us?
Well, the city-
Square foot or
Yeah, the city-
fill or what?
Well, you're gonna have the same amount of square feet on all 3 streets, 3rd Street, 4th Street, and 5th Street, for 2 blocks off of Park Avenue south. So you're gonna have square footage greater than 4 feet wide, and what the distance, that'd be about 600 feet, almost 600 feet on both sides of the street, on all 3 streets.
Well, a guy asked me about it last week, that was interested in putting a bid in, and that's why I'm asking, cause
Well,
obviously they haven't.
Yeah,
So does that go to Railroad Street then? You're saying 2 blocks?
2 blocks.
You have his name, Pardon, Keith?
Yeah, I do.
That'll be.
We'll have Park Avenue. to
Park
where-
Avenue South, 2 blocks.
Okay,
But I'll have him get in touch with you.
Almost the railroad.
That's fine.
Said he's done some here
Yeah,
and.
we-
Be like Evans Street in there.
Evans is in there though, isn't it? Yeah.
What he was asking is if the fit, what else is required for this bid? Is there are they gonna be responsible for the backfill? I know this homeowner, I mean, I know how it works in a normal, according to the city ordinance or statutes or whatever, but in this situation, what is this contractor gonna be responsible for? Removal, fill?
In the past, the city's taken out the concrete.
Right,
The people that gets a bid will do the forming. You either put, you have done this before, put sand or crushed stone in for them, right?
Yeah.
okay,
So that's what the city will do, take
Right.
all the concrete out, all it off, and when they get it formed up, they need fill put in, that's when they'll get a hold of him.
okay,
And if they want stone or they want sand or whatever, they've taken care of it for them.
okay.
Right, Tyler?
What's that?
If they need fill put in, you put stone or sand in for them, right?
It depends on the size of the sidewalk will,
Yeah.
I mean, that's gonna be a lot of stone. That's gonna be a lot of stone or whatever you're gonna form with.
Yeah. Well, you got enough old stuff up there you could probably use for it. Stone?
Oh, I don't have enough for all that, no.
No.
But we'll get it.
We'll have to
Yeah.
get it.
That's
When
what
we get
we've
closer
done.
to time to do it, we'll get it. I don't want 50 tons sitting there just on the way, so.
So that, Keith, that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay.
You have anything else, Keith? Noah?
Yes, I do. For those who don't know me, I'm Noah Townsend. I am the 2023 baseball board president. I took that position out of lack of anyone else wanting to take that position. So here I am, taking that position another year at the park. I wanted to come down and talk to the city council and the citizens coming to tonight. Our concession stand is interior about 18 foot by 18 foot. It has been cobbled together over the years. That thing was 1950s models. It served its purpose well. However, we have flat outgrown it. Hands down outgrown it. We had 7 teams. We had 88 kids in the minor league last year for a total of 7 teams. Major league, we had 40 kids sign up, so that puts about 128. And then throw in 43 kids combined with T-ball and Pee-wee. It's a lot of kids. A lot of kids bring a lot of parents, a lot of grandparents, a lot of siblings. A lot of people get fed to that concession stand. And as much as we've upgraded it, and as much as, you know, we've got donations from the Community Foundation for new equipment and a new roof, which has been great, it just doesn't serve its purpose for us anymore. We have flat out grown that concession stand. We can't add any more utilities in. We're maxed out on our service for electrical. The water is as cobbled together as we can get it, and we get by. We do what we do with it. But that being said, I have reached out for a design to see about potentially upgrading our concession stand down there. And by upgrading, I mean building a new one. And that building would consist of, and I have drawings and some documents to give you guys tonight. It's gonna be a 75 by 25 building, 35 by 25, that would be concession, 40 by 25, I'm sorry, 35 by 25 would be, storage. So we could eliminate a storage shed down there. So we actually did have a building drawn up and designed to kind of look at what we see the future at the park. That is one thing that I'd like to see accomplished next year, if at all possible. It may take a couple of years. The early estimates that I've got from people in the industry is it's gonna be pricey to build something like that with the block that matches the bathroom. But again, I wanna leave something that's gonna be another 100 years down the road that this doesn't have to be worried about. So on average, it takes us about $10,000 to get our season underway. We still have a few things we have to pay out, but we're gonna be in excess of about $7,000 to $8,000 at the end of this season. This year is where we're kinda sitting at. We were discussing using that towards a building fund, or rebuilding the northwest minor league backstops. That's the field down here on the left as you're facing the fields. It's in pretty bad shape. It's all block. The foundation is washed out of it in some spots. It really needs replaced. We held games on every day of the week last season. Typically, we do 4 days a week, because that's what we needed was 4 days a week, and we kept Friday for rainouts. This year, we played games every day of the week, rain out or not. We had to play games. We had that many kids. It was awesome to see that many people come up. So, again, this is a 25 by 70 foot block structure, 25 by 35 being new concession stand, food prep area, 25 by 40 being a storage area, allowing us to tear down the current wooden shed area. The building would face northeast in between both fields. So if you walked up to order food, you'd be able to watch your kid down here on the minor field, and if you had a kid playing on the major field, you could watch that. So essentially, we'd split the difference between those two fields and get it more centered up and get it a little bit elevated. The funds for this project are gonna be predominantly paid by seeking grants and donations on a tiered basis with amounts yet to be determined. We're gonna have to ask for donations to get this thing built. I can't get a finalized number yet until I have the city's council's blessing to take this into consideration. Alls I can get right now is a budgetary number from any general contractor, and I'll be honest with you, that budgetary number is around $300,000. That's budgetary. But anybody in the construction industry knows a budgetary number, they just throw a high number to stick to the wall. If I can get the blessing to potentially seek moving forward on this, then I can get these guys to sharpen their pencils. I expect it to probably be around a $200,000 mark. Just to be honest, that's probably what it's gonna cost to build this. Everything's going up, right? Everything's going up. But I would have to have your guys' blessing to consider us building a new concession stand before I can really start seeking a general contractor to really get somebody to fine tune their number and to get us where we need to be on that. We've done a lot of upgrades down there. We just grassed the major field this year. We've had some great donations, the video board by donations, which is outstanding. I think everybody loves that down there. The community foundation has bought a lot of new equipment, which we're gonna take right into the new concession stand. And lastly, the thing that I'd like to see happen with the old concession stand is I'd like to see that thing, if this does move forward, I'd like to see that thing get knocked down and maybe a little bit get added to each side, and I'd like to make that handicap parking and elder parking, and I'd like a nice row of bench seats in front of that for the elderly and the handicapped to be able to watch some baseball games. But yeah, I just wanted to bring that to you guys and see if you would consider allowing us to move forward with concession stand, and if so, we're gonna have to go after donations with the city, be willing to match dollar for dollar, so we can keep adding to what makes Covington great. Just like Joe Sayre said, it's a great city.
We could go for a grant through DNR,
Absolutely.
like we did for the new restrooms that we're building.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's,
You're gonna utilize the existing, facility until you raise money to get this started?
Correct.
Yeah.
I'd like to blitz, I don't know if it'll happen, but I'd love to be able to blitz it and get it done before season started.
This year?
I'd love to see it happen. But, I gotta start somewhere, so.
Now, there you're talking about putting this between the minor and the major
Correct.
field there?
Correct.
Where your batting cage is at?
A little bit more that direction. There's a wooden shed right beside the batting cage. You would essentially start at that wooden shed and it would almost face this angle, just like this.
Yeah.
That way you could see both fields.
So the existing batting cage would stay there?
That could stay there, yes. The existing wood shed, which needs to go away anyway, would go away.
And you've got enough room to do that there.
Yes,
You-
yes,
We talked, you know there's no sewer there.
correct.
And
Which, the bathrooms will handle that, but the other issue is we do need some sort of drainage for the sinks there.
Yeah,
So that would be a hurdle that we'd have to come up with, figure out how to do that.
Well, in some cases, they allow what they call gray matter to be, you know,
Which would be Dawn dish soap and water is what would go out of it.
well, that's called, yeah, they call that gray matter.
Yeah, gray water.
The rules on that is a whole lot less than it is on sewer, you know, if
Right.
you're putting in a septic or leach field, whatever.
Yeah,
But that's something you'd have to get with, board, health department,
Mhm.
you know, how you can handle that.
mhm. I just assumed we'd be able to tie into the drain in the existing concession stand. That's not feasible. Cause that existing concession stand, I believe, falls underneath that gray water,
it's the same.
French drain style,
Yeah.
so,
And it goes north.
yeah. But I do have the design done, of kind of what we're looking at, you know, a couple windows facing out this way, an entry door for concession stand workers that faces that way, as well as a garage door that faces the big pavilion, and a double door that faces out the other end as well, so. The concessions would predominantly be on this side, but they'd all be facing that way, and then our storage would move back this side.
So what you're asking us for is to, money that you raise is to match dollar for dollar?
First, I would ask that I be allowed to chase down getting this building built, to do what I need to do, you know, as far as the general contractors, I mean, this is your guys' park. I'm gonna have to put this thing out for bid, so I would like to see a motion to pursue building a new concession stand, and then, yeah, I'd like to see a motion to match dollar for dollar on donations to get what we gotta get.
I don't think, we probably can't commit to that right now, no, but you should get, you know, bids. 2 or
Absolutely.
3 bids.
So that we, everybody knows where you're at on
Absolutely.
getting this thing constructed.
Yep.
You know,
Yep,
You also have to check in on the grants too, right?
Yeah, yeah, I can talk to DNR and see.
and if anybody has any other grant ideas, let me know. I mean, we're gonna chase down every penny we can get. And if we do end up exceeding our amount, there's a ton more work that needs to be done down there. I listed some of it. We need new lighting, that new backstop. That backstop on the minor field's in pretty bad shape, and I've called 2 or 3 brickies to get prices, and I can't get anybody to,
Can't.
I
Yeah,
can't,
get
nobody's gonna
anybody.
price anything,
I know.
so. But that's what I'm here for.
Go ahead and get your pricing.
We'll do.
So do we need a motion for him to pursue that, or he's just good to go?
I don't think so, he can just go ahead.
Did you talk to the community foundation?
I've not yet. And the reason why I haven't reached out to anybody about any money was I wanted to make sure that the city council and the city was good with me going after this. Now that I know they're good going after it, then I'll start getting some lump sum hard dollar bids on getting this thing put together.
it's definitely something that you need to get done down there because they have outgrown that boat concession.
We really genuinely have.
Moving that little concession stand too, when it gets busy down there, it's pretty congested right there. That's a
Oh, yeah.
good idea, moving that, especially with the new bathrooms coming in.
That central location is gonna help with that.
If we're gonna do this, we need to upgrade that pavilion down there too, same time. That's getting pretty shabby.
The big one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as long as I have your guys' blessing, then I'm gonna start chasing this down, and then I'll come back with some hard dollar proposals and see what we can do to get some money together.
Okay.
Good?
Yep,
That's all I needed.
yep.
Thank you.
Thanks, Brian, Holly?
I had a couple questions about that. Keith
You
asked a couple of them.
You do?
No, I said,
Oh,
Keith already asked a couple questions I
Okay.
had on audio and video,
okay,
the roads.
sure. Bob?
Apparently we haven't got quotes from Sutherland and San Diego on the sidewalks yet.
No. I told him, so he's
Haven't seen it.
haven't been able to.
Well, if I see him, it'd be all right to
Sure,
tell him to
you bet,
get us a quote. on it.
yes.
Okay. The other thing is CDLs for our employees.
Mm-hmm.
I've checked on this at the BMV. The way they do it without doing too much, they have to take a test, a written test.
Mm-hmm.
They pass it, then they get a CDL physical. They
Mhm.
take that to the BMV and they get that on their file and they give them a temporary permit for it.
Mm-hmm.
In the meantime, they have to sign up at one place is over at DAC for a 40-hour class. The cost of that class for each individual is $4,000. There are grants. Winsport just sent a person there to get a CDL. There are grants available to pay for this $4,000 for them to obtain a CDL. Once they go through that 40-hour class, they're almost guaranteed to get a Class A
Mhm.
CDL
How many
license.
hours, 40 hours?
40 hours.
Okay.
Now, if we're gonna do this, wintertime is a good time for them to do
How
that.
can we get the grant?
Well, I'm checking on that. I
Okay.
called Winsport today. I gotta talk to the clerk treasurer up there, and she has that information
Okay.
to apply for that money. For these guys to be able to do that.
Who is the
But
clerk treasurer?
Janet, I forget what her last name is. I got it on my phone.
Okay.
But, anyway, the first thing for these guys to do is, of course, study the books I give them from the BMV and get that passed, and then they get a physical,
Mm-hmm.
and they get a temporary permit, and get signed up for a class. In the meantime, while the guys are doing that, I'll find out where they can apply for this grant money at, okay?
Okay.
That's all on that.
Bob, can I ask you, have you looked into other avenues besides DAC? I know Kokomo, Indianapolis.
Yeah, they got one in Lafayette, they got one they got
So
one that you
the
can
Fed
do.
changed that law on February 7th of last year. 40 hours of classroom, 40 hours of drive time, but federally is what's required.
Yeah.
What they can do, since that's happened, that 40 hours of classroom now can be done virtually.
Yeah.
So there are avenues to go to where they can do that classroom portion in front of a computer virtually. So essentially, they could do it right here at work in
Yeah.
Covington during the day, get their 40 hours in, and then go take that 40-hour drive to get the license. I've just thrown that out there. I deal with that all the time, guys.
Yeah, I'm gonna find out from them up there how they handled the one they sent over there, see how they
But-
handled that.
But they can take it at DAC and it's good for Indiana.
Yeah. yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought they said it wasn't.
No, I heard it couldn't transfer over state
It
lines.
changed after February. It was state by state basis, but then now it's federally, it was always federal, but each state controlled your license. Now after that, federally, you can get it in any state,
Basically,
and
it's
it's
a
good
big money
everywhere.
game, I
Yeah.
think.
Big and
That's what it is,
Yeah.
money.
Yeah, it's all money.
The other, let's see, okay, the other thing. Leaf vac,
Mm-hmm.
we have one leaf vac, that's the red one with the tractor.
Yep.
The other one blows a freeze plug out every time they try to use it. I had Tyler to check on a new leaf vac
Yes.
and a tractor
Yeah.
combination, which anybody down there can drive,
Yes.
okay? Obviously, the leaf vac, the one we're using now is not, I mean, it's getting it done,
Yeah.
but he's way behind
Oh, yeah.
on it.
Yeah.
I think the best thing for us to do, and Tyler's looked into them coming down and giving us a trade price for that old one that we used to use that blows the freeze plug out,
Mhm.
and get a quote from them for a new leaf vac wagon
Mhm.
and a tractor to pull with.
I thought we had a John Deere already ordered tractor.
No.
What about that, Tom?
I haven't ordered a
I
job yet.
thought we was gonna get a new John Deere.
Oh, he was talking about probably a backhoe?
At the backhoe, before we got ours, I'm pretty happy with ours now, we'll probably keep it for a little while longer.
I mean, you could get most any
Yeah.
tractor with a,
All we need is a tractor.
You need a
Right.
utility tractor.
Right, but we don't need no new one. We could surely pick a one up at a farm sale or something.
Oh, probably,
Now,
yeah.
this was like, what we've been pulling it with. now.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
yeah.
But if you do something like that, then you don't get municipality discount on stuff,
Right,
which amount, I mean, that's pretty substantial. But right now, he's working on getting somebody down here from Best Equipment to look at the old truck that they got.
okay,
Plugged out of it right
Yeah.
now, and getting us a quote for trading that in on
Yeah.
a new leaf back, and then we can look for a tractor to have it ready for next year.
yeah,
Okay?
Yeah.
So, yeah, the next meeting we have, well, he'll have that kind of stuff, right,
Yeah.
Tyler? You get
I'll
them
see-
down here and get a,
I'll see what I can do.
yeah, get a quote from them on trading that in on a new wagon, and then we'll look, at that point, we'll look at a new, finding a tractor to pull that, and have it ready for next year. Okay? Other than that, okay, what have you found out from Grovier's house, from the judge?
nothing, they have an attorney now,
Oh, they got an
Yeah.
attorney.
which is what they should have had all along,
Yeah,
yeah. So,
hang on, it'll be a while.
Is that what that means, it's gonna be a while? So our judge
they have it
basically.
for sale, they have it for sale, right, Taylor?
They said they have a buyer.
You say they do,
They say they do. She says they do.
so the attorney says they do.
Their attorney
Has
says,
she told you the name?
He could, but he won't.
yeah, she hasn't yet.
That's what he said last time.
Yeah,
Regardless, he's gotta have it sold by January first, 23.
yeah, that's 60 days, less than 60 days,
Okay, that's all I got.
okay. Patty?
I mean, all I know is the election stuff, we need to make a decision, so I'm making a motion that we change our elections to an even year. With just that,
And leave the districts where they are?
it's too late to do anything with that now, just for the sheer of saving the city, you know, up to $8,000-9,000 on an election. Just change it to, whether you wanna do it the presidential election or do it, where
Midterm.
next year, everybody would run for a one-year term and then run again in 2024, or run for a 3-year term and run again in 2026.
I think a 3-year term would be better. It's no picnic running, you know.
So you're saying move the city elections to even years with the presidential election?
Move it to,
Or
I guess,
midterms.
we would do, move it for everybody that would run, I mean, everybody runs next year, and so move it to the midterm election, which, so next year, everybody would run for a 3-year term. And then run again for, and then it would continue 4 years. You have to stay in that agreement for, 12 years before you can change it, so.
And we still have representative over each district. Not two guys representing one district, right?
So all districts are saying the
Which,
same?
I don't know, for me, and where I was going with that was, I mean, I think Covington's small enough, it's not a Danville where you've got such a huge mix of, you know, people, it's not as diverse, and, you know, I represent everybody in Covington, I don't represent the people in that block I live in, so, that was just the reason, you know, and trying to get it more in line with the precincts that the county has, because those aren't gonna change. They will stay the way they are unless, you know, Covington just booms and grows. You know, you can only have so many people in a precinct, so.
Unless somebody else gets in charge. Right?
Well, I can guarantee you, they're not gonna change over the next 4 years.
No.
They did that once.
So it'd be the same as what 2, 3, 4, and 5 have been, plus 1 at large.
So you have to, run in the district that you're representing, I mean, you have to live in the district that you're representing.
So next year we just run for 3 years, if you're gonna run again, I mean, you can run instead of 4.
Yeah, and then,
Then have another election in 3 years and run for 4 out of that.
yes, and then it goes back to the 4-year terms.
Let me see.
And it would fall in midterm years then and not
Yes.
presidential?
It would be like
There's
this
just so much
election.
confusion on a presidential
Yeah.
election with people around, you know.
Yeah.
how it goes.
So election, midterm elections are.
So does anybody wanna make that motion?
Then again,
I made the motion.
Oh, does anybody want a second? We would have it in 2026.
so we'll run next year for 3 years, then again in 3 years for a 4-year term, right? Is that,
Mhm.
is that the wording on?
That's
Okay,
correct.
thank you.
They would be putting me just about to the right age to get the hell out, right?
Then second.
It's a good thing because then we won't be paying for the election.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea, honestly, cause that way the city doesn't have to put out that money, so I'll second it.
Okay, Josh,
No,
Justin,
Yes.
Joe?
I'm gonna say no, because I'm not running again anyway.
Patty?
Yes.
Bob?
No.
So it didn't pass.
So we're not gonna. Did not pass. So we'll run, the city will pay.
And it will
We
be
split
a
with
lot.
Attica.
And it will be a
I
lot.
don't know, we're not gonna have any money for traffic.
We're
Maybe
sitting
not
here,
have money
yeah,
for
we're raising
elections.
prices everywhere, but we don't wanna save, $8,000-9,000.
We split that with Attica, right?
That doesn't make a lot of sense.
Atticus-
No, we
There's
don't
more.
split it with Attica,
Huh?
we pay the whole load.
What'd you
Attica pays the whole load.
Yeah, it's,
It's a
each
municipal.
city, yeah, each city
election.
pays for their own thing. And so, and but typically they run anywhere from, they could run 7 to 9,000. And we were forced to switch voting equipment, this year is the first year we're using the new voting equipment. And, it's more expensive, it's just, everything's gone, it's just like everything else, everything has gone up. So, it's
Well,
hard.
can I change my vote then?
Yeah, do it again.
Well, I mean, since.
Bob wasn't here, he didn't
The last I
understand what
heard,
we're
we
saying.
was splitting it with Attica. That's the last I was
I
told.
thought it was Attica and Peterson, I thought there was 3 of us.
Petersburg doesn't do an election held by the county anymore, they are a small town, a true small town, and they run their own
What I
election.
was gonna do is go around.
Covington and Attica doesn't have that
Old concession
opportunity.
stand. But I didn't know you were
So,
that far
and
down.
Attica, I went and presented to Attica, and I don't know which way they're leaning, I mean, they were kinda leaning like, yes, they wanted to switch theirs. So, if they switch, then we would be on the hook for the entire election, most of, all the cost of the election. Because it would just be Covington doing that
Well,
municipal
we're just
election.
doing,
Kingman-
Covington's doing their
That's right
municipal
now,
election,
until we
and
decide
Attica's
what we're
doing
gonna
their
do.
municipal election,
But,
correct?
yeah, there's fees that like, whatever Covington uses, so like all of the, equipment that Covington uses, you
I got it
pay
started.
for
I got it
that, and
across the
Attica
road.
would pay for theirs, but then there's some things that the county still pays for, so.
So, we'll move along, and if we'll visit it again next meeting, or the first meeting in December.
So, yeah.
Joe?
Yeah, we'll get it figured out.
Down there on Crockett, what is that deal down there, West Crockett?
I know that.
That is a dump.
All the way down?
Yes.
All the way down, it's Hayden's property.
There's a house down there, it's fallen in,
Yeah.
it's terrible.
Yeah.
Worst place I've seen in town.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's bad.
Is there any way we could get that taken care of? Put it on their taxes or whatever, but
Which one you talking about?
the whole damn thing.
Hayden's down at the end of Crockett.
Oh, on the Crockett, okay.
Yeah.
Yes, go down to the west end of
Oh,
Crockett.
my goodness, yeah. Yeah,
That's
that-
terrible.
That's a mess down there, but,
Yeah.
and you can see it when you come across the bridge in the wintertime.
Yeah.
Who's in charge of that?
And where are we talking about?
Hayden's down at the end of
Isn't that where
Crockett.
that Ron that comes to the meetings?
no.
She owns it.
No,
Somebody-
this is right on Crockett Street.
Is that the very
Ethel
last house?
Ethel
over
Hayden's,
Down that way?
you know,
Yeah.
The Hayden lady that passed away years ago?
yes. Is it
Somebody
Jack?
just
Is it
lives
Jack?
down at the end.
It's David or Eric?
Nobody lives in it, and it's
Okay.
not had utilities for years.
Or at least,
Oh, it doesn't,
There's no water or nothing there.
no water, is it in the city limits?
That I can't tell you, I don't know.
You could just call the courthouse and
Okay,
find
I'll
out who pays
find
the
out if it's
property
in the
taxes
city
on it.
limits and then we'll address it.
okay,
Okay. You got
something
anything
needs
else,
to be
Joe?
done.
Okay,
You need to find out who's
That's
paying
all
the
I
property
had.
taxes.
okay. Justin,
I don't have anything.
Josh?
All I had this evening was, how, there were a couple things. How long will we run street sweeping? It's been asked, how long, and basically until you get them all up?
Yeah, it depends, if it starts freezing, then we'll revisit that, I don't wanna, once they're frozen to the ground, they're frozen to the ground, but.
Just my neighbor, there's a couple oak trees and they don't fall until it freezes, until it gets cold and the leaves come down, so they were asking.
I don't know, let's just say.
We normally run it till
we usually
about
run till
Thanksgiving, and if they're not down by then, they have to bag them.
That's good enough.
Yeah.
I just.
And we'll pick the bags up.
Okay. And then, I got asked from, Mike Cadman, electrical department, he claimed he had, qualified and passed to become a journeyman. And he was asking about his rate increase and his status as a journeyman.
And that's up to Clint.
Okay.
When Clint, tells me.
Thinks
then-
he's ready to move
Yeah.
forward. Okay.
Yes.
And I'm just asking the process, cause he asked me, and, I
Yeah.
told him I would bring it to y'all. And that was all I had.
Okay, very good.
Get this on. Okay, attendance, last one.
Yeah, she did. You
Oh, I
did.
didn't. Uh-oh.
You did.
Is there any additions or corrections to the minutes from the last meeting? Minutes stand approved. Meeting's adjourned. Okay, is he living there?
Yeah, somebody lived up there.
Now, is it in the city limits?
I'd be careful on that.
He does actually have a trailer.
We gotta find out.
But he doesn't have any utilities.
They don't